So in this environment that you, in some way, you are born as an agile company and you become like less agile. This is the feeling that people can have in the company. Do you think that agile coaches or this kind of role can be helpful?
Your question is about agile coaches being helpful
being helpful in these companies that are transforming themselves. They are becoming, they are scaling up, and as you said, they are hiring people who are maybe taking not very good practices or more old-fashioned practices.
Sure, definitely. I think coaches could have the responsibility of monitoring the agile mindset and the agile culture of an organization and taking action anywhere they see this is necessary. Because, I mean, with an agile transformation, you can get an organization from being old-fashioned and traditional to being more agile-minded with a modern agile, lean agile culture. But then keeping it there is a different story altogether. Very easily it could be that everything rolls back to how everything was before. So you'll need people in place who monitor things and keep it at a certain level that you fought so hard for to achieve. It's not like you just then can fire all the agile coaches. No, you want them there, and then you will have the next challenge, as I said before after the talk during the Q&A. Then the next thing I believe is continuous innovation after an agile transformation, because with an agile transformation you convert your current business and make it more agile and lean in the way you operate it. But all business models will have an end of their life cycle. They will die at some point. Maybe not next year, maybe not 5 years from now, maybe in a decade. And how will you prepare for that? How will you make sure that there's a younger generation of new products and services that can take over from the current one? The current one is now making all the money, so now you have a chance to make babies as a company. And that, I think, will be the next challenge for coaches and consultants. Whether they call themselves agile or not, I don't care. Yeah. But still, the company will have to then transform to continuous innovation instead of optimization of the current business model.
You think they will play a key role as change agents, right?
If they choose to, yeah, sure.
And what do you think are the skills and the knowledge that they will have to improve or to ensure they have in order to play this new role on the companies?
A relentless need to learn from books or podcasts or articles or whatever, because there's always new stuff emerging, and the will to try new things, because that's what innovation is all about. Is to try things and be creative, see what works, and then execute on that, because innovation is creation plus execution. Anyone can have creative ideas. The challenge is often bringing an innovative idea or creative idea to a market that wants it and is willing to pay for it. That's execution. And you need both in order to be innovative. And in the beginning there's a lot of creativity, later there will be a lot of execution, but innovation requires both. And the need and the willingness to do both, creativity and execution, I think that is what coaches and consultants will have to show themselves, leading by example, in order to help the companies that they assist to be more innovative.
Now in the industry, we see that there are many sectors that are moving into this transformation, this kind of transformation. Now, for example, there are a lot of banking companies who are moving at the same time. Do you think that there is any kind of environment or any sector that has not moved yet or not massively moved that we have not put our eye on and will probably do in a future?
Well, that's an interesting question. Probably, but I don't get invited by them. And I also do not get invited by the industries that are already very agile in the way they operate, because they don't need me. So I am invited by the part of the world, the industries that are actively working on agile transformations, which is banking and software and transport, etc. Because they see the need, they need to change. They have traditional organizations, they have modern organizations, and they're in this shift. So that's why, yeah, I get invites from those kinds of companies. But you have others on either side, the ones who do nothing and the ones who have already accomplished everything, and both I don't see. Because I don't meet them at events or conferences. So it's hard for me to say what industries. But the one that comes to mind is that there's still plenty of bureaucracy in government-owned institutions and organizations, because there's less need for a government to innovate and renew its and update its service level, because they don't have competition unless people move to another country, which happens in some cases. So the competition is literally in another geographical region, and people are forced to use government services and then complain about how bad everything is, even in my country sometimes. Maybe some public services are not innovating, not transforming to agile as fast as we would like them. That's the only thing that comes to mind right now.
But do you think they will do it? Yeah, sure, right? So which kind of reading or any book that you recommend for people who wants to take this knowledge or this feeling about how to help innovating in companies and moving into this transformation?
What books I would recommend? Well, anything about design thinking, anything about lean startup, anything about new product development. There's so much out there, I cannot even start mentioning all the titles, but just go to Amazon or your favorite bookstore and type design thinking or lean startup, and you'll find great stuff. Product management in general, so much good stuff out there. But also maybe a bit more theoretical books, like I mentioned Clayton Christensen with his Innovator's Dilemma. He has new work on the jobs to be done framework, for example. There's so much out there. I keep reading every day.
Any recommendation of any book, non-IT book or non-methodology book, just to inspire people about their work or their day-to-day basis?
Wow, the last book I read that I gave 5 stars is called The Formula by Albert Laszlo Barabasi, a very difficult name, but the title is easy, The Formula, and it is about success, how companies or individuals become successful, and then written from the perspective of network science. There's a lot of research referred to in the book. The author is actually a complexity scientist, a well-known figure in the complexity sciences, and that's one of my favorite topics is complex adaptive systems. So he uses actual research to show why some things become successful and other things become not successful, and what are the key ingredients for successful products and services. And that's super fascinating to read, all the network effects in the economy, how they play a role. So yeah, that's one that I can definitely recommend, because there's some solid research behind it. So The Formula, try that one.
I'll try. Thank you so much.
Awesome.